my name is Kim Hornsby. I'm the Jackson County 4-H agent. I work for the University of Kentucky College of Agriculture, Food, and the Environment Cooperative Extension Service. Back in the days of the Old West, cowboys were said to have good horse sense whenever they understood horses and they could pick out a good horse for their needs. A lot of them used horses for transportation and some used horses to round up cattle. So what my goal for this series is, I want you guys to be able to develop a good horse sense. Today what we're going to talk about during horse sense is the basics of how to catch, halter, and lead your horse. That way you can do that safely. So the first thing that I want to talk about are the different types of halters that you can use. So this is the first kind of halter that I want to talk about today. It's a leather halter and it has soft padding. It's great to use for hauling on a trailer, or if your horse is going to stand tied up for a long time. It's comfortable, it's soft, and it doesn't rub them. The second type of halter is probably what most of you guys are used to. It's just what I would call a web halter. This one is really nice. It has adjustable nose piece. It has a buckle under the throat latch, and it also has the adjustable crown piece. And this is a really good halter just for daily use, for leading back and forth to the pasture. The next type of halter that I want to talk about is a rope halter. And I've got two different types of rope halters here, and this is the type that I mainly use. I typically just use rope halters. This is actually the only type of halter like this that I even own. But this halter is a thicker material. See if you guys can see that pretty good. It's a thicker material, and it is a great just everyday halter. The thinner the halter, the more control that you're going to have over the horse. And so I would rather not have to use a thinner halter on a day-to-day basis. We want to try to use the softest thing that we can for our horses so that they're comfortable when we work with them. Now this type of halter is what I would call a training halter. It has the 4 knots on it. And this is really good if you have a horse that doesn't lead well, or a horse that's kind of being unruly. It's also made of a little bit thinner rope, and the thinner rope helps the horse to, the horse will feel that thinner rope around its face more. So this is just a great type of rope to use for training purposes. So the first thing I want to show you how to do is how not to put the halter on. And I see a lot of people going up to a horse like this, and they try to put the halter on the horse like this. And you see how he's kind of backing away from that? It makes him a little bit nervous. And then people they swing their arm up. And what happens is, a lot of times the horse will get scared and it will run away. And then you create more problems for yourself later on. When Shiloh turned into me there, and but if a horse is a little bit more nervous about being caught, you just want to always approach them from their shoulder, and then you want to just touch their shoulder lightly. If they start to step away from you, then you can walk back and forth with the horse to kind of keep it steadied. But typically, most of you guys, hopefully you've got horses that you can catch, and I'm going to do a separate video on being able to catch a horse that's difficult to catch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the end of the rope halter. I'm going to put it under Shiloh's neck. I'm going to put this arm over top of it. And then I'm going to bring the crown piece over, just like that. I'm going to open the halter up, and I'm going to slip his nose in there. And I'm just going to gently walk it back and forth until it comes up over his face. Now this is the important part. A lot of people tie rope halters the wrong way. And so what you want to do is you want to put the end of the halter down through this little loop, and then you want to take the end of the loop behind and then bring it around back in the front and then tighten it up. If you tie it this way, if your horse pulls back, then he won't be able to, it won't tighten up so much that you can't loosen it, okay? Now, the way you don't want to tie it, let me see if I can, okay, you don't want to tie it like this. I've seen a lot of people tying it like this. They go up behind the crown piece. and around like that. So you don't want to tie it like that because it will tighten up to where you can't get it loose. Now, again, you just want to put it behind the loop and then bring it back through. Okay? Now let's talk about fit since we're at this point. So it's very important when you fit a halter on a horse that it's resting about right there. You want about 2 fingers, there's a bone right here, this cheekbone. You want about 2 fingers underneath that cheekbone. Okay, this is too low. I see a lot of halters that look like that on horses, so that is way too low. We want to keep it up here. It's more comfortable for the horse and you have more control that way. Okay, so we've got that halter fitted. Now I want to show you the difference between this type of rope halter and a web halter. So this is the web halter, and a lot of people use this type of halter. It's still a good halter, but the way you put this halter on is if it has a buckle underneath, then you don't have to unsnap this part. You just want to take the horse, bring his head over towards you, and then you're going to slide the nose piece up over top of his nose and put the crown over his ears. And then buckle underneath the throat latch. And this halter fits him about right. If it didn't, you want to be able to fit at least 2 or 3 fingers underneath here. If it didn't, you can always adjust if you've got an adjustable one. And that one fits him about right. Okay, the next thing that we want to talk about is leading. One thing that I want you to know is that you don't have to have a lead rope to lead your horse. So you want to kind of get your horse to the point where it follows you and it's willing to go along with you even without a lead rope on. I see a lot of people, and I'll just go ahead and attach the rope right now and show you. I see a lot of people who hold their horse really tight under here like it's going to get away if they don't hold on to it really tight. You don't have to do that. You want your horse to want to stay with you as much as you can possibly get it to without trying to run off or anything. Now, they will, occasionally, you know, they'll get spooked and things will happen, but you want to try to avoid holding on tight with a death grip to this halter like this. So, I'm going to show you that you don't have to have a lead rope to lead your horse. If I can wake Shiloh up here. So see, anywhere I go, he should follow me. He should back up. If I want to turn, he should turn his feet. So he should kind of mirror my steps. If I want to go this way, good. Okay, so that just proves to you that you shouldn't necessarily have to have a lead rope to lead your horse. It's more about the connection. Now, obviously, we do have to have a lead rope most of the time. We don't want them to get spooked or something and run off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach this lead rope to his halter. The first thing that I want to emphasize is that you should never coil a rope like this. Because if that horse spooks and all of these coils come loose, then it could really hurt your fingers. You could get caught up in that. So what you want to do is you want to fold the lead rope in half and then maybe fold it in half again, depending on the length of your lead rope. And you want to hold that lead rope like this. Okay? When you're leading a horse, you want to stay between the shoulder and the head. So my shoulder should be in the middle of his neck. Now, like I said earlier, I don't want to hold on to this halter like this and pull him around everywhere, okay? I want to hold a few inches away. That way when his head moves, it's not bumping on the halter and I'm not continuously putting pressure on him. Okay, so when I walk, I'm gonna step off, and if he doesn't step off with me, then I'm just gonna give him a little tug. Okay, when he steps off, I'm gonna release. Well, he's being really lazy today. Okay, so I want him, if he doesn't stay between my shoulder, if he doesn't keep his neck between my shoulder, then I'm just going to bump him. So I want him right there. You always want to look forward when you're leading a horse and walk with confidence, because that shows them that you're a confident leader. When I stop, he should stop. If I back up, I just put my foot back, and I just saw his weight kind of shift, and so he's thinking about backing up. Now I can pull, I can back him up from this direction. Good. Or I can get in front of him and back him up with my fingers. But you should never ever let your horse lead right directly behind you. You should always kind of be off to the side a little bit. In case they do spook, you don't want them to run over top of you. And that concludes our first session of Horse Sense. Hopefully you were able to learn how to halter and lead your horse the proper way. If you have any questions, be sure to leave those in the comments, and we may be able to film a session coming up on whatever questions you may have. Be sure to like and share this episode with your friends. And tune in next week, next Friday, for our next session.